is it doing that? Morning. Morning. I'm over here fixing Instagram. Morning, everybody. Morning, guys. How are we doing today? It is time for some tea, both literally and figuratively. Good morning, everybody. Oh, this is interesting. I don't know if my mic is working. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Tea Time. I am Stacy Hines, and I'm happy to be joining you for another Saturday where we're going to be talking all the things tea. I'm actually really looking forward to this conversation. I have been having a very challenging week, guys. This week has been, let's just say, we can't wait for another Monday to come, because by the time you reach Tuesday, you're just like, no, week is over. I want to start again. Anyway, welcome to Tea Time. I'm looking forward to our powerful conversation. I learned so many lessons this week just about being more intentional with how I'm thinking about things, and how I'm processing problems. A lot of issues this week, just challenges, day-to-day challenges, challenges with clients, challenges with money, challenges with my new setup, my environment, just all different kind of challenges I ran into this week. And it had me thinking about how I was going to share in Tea Time, because I know that many of you are struggling right now, and I want you to know that you are not alone. People everywhere, I think, are going through just life, and they're feeling it at a different level. And I feel the reason for that is because we just have so many things coming at us at the same time. And when that happens, it tends to make us feel stuck, because you have so many different areas of your life that you're trying to navigate, and so many different things that you're trying to deal with, that you end up feeling somewhat powerless. And I will say that this week I had to be constantly reminding myself of how much power I have, and reclaiming that power in a sense. And so for Tea Time this morning, I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about just the different ways that we give up our power to create the life we want. Talk about the different ways that we give up our power to choose what we want for ourselves. And even if we make a choice that ends up, not turning out the way we want it to, or we make a choice that ends up not giving us the result that we want, we still have the power at that point to change. And that's the part where most of us, myself included in the past, fall off, is that we get stuck. We get stuck in this feeling of powerlessness. We get stuck with, well, this is just the way it is, or I'm too old, or, that done pass and gone already, or I can't go back and repair, because we feel like we have to go back and do something, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you feel that you need support with your struggles, right, and you don't just want a positive word, because sometimes, people think that, well, all you need is just to think positive and be positive. And I'm here to tell y'all that I am the creator of intention cards and affirmation cards. And this week, the positive word, them couldn't come fast enough. I pull card, I pray, I meditate, I do everything. It was just like, yeah. So I see where somebody's putting in, and me to tell you about this struggle. Yes, I know it. I know people are in the midst of feeling it. You're feeling the pressure. And a large part of why there is this pressure is truly because it's just a time where everything is coming at us faster than ever before. We feel like we have to move faster. We feel like we have to be doing the most, So if you haven't already, grab your cup of tea or your cup of coffee, because today we are going to be all about reclaiming some power. That's what I'm here to do, is to share some thoughts with you about, my life drama and how your life drama can shift by using some of these very simple tools that are there for us. Easy things that you don't have to go out and buy nothing. I mean, of course, you may need some intention cards, but you don't necessarily have to be going out there and trying to do it all on your own. There are resources available to you to help and support you as you're going through. And I'm going to be sharing one of those resources again today. Speaking of intention cards, the card that I pulled this morning as I was preparing for this session is ideal. I like to pull the cards when I'm actually on the show because I don't want to think I like plant them. But trust me, I don't. I did it last week. I like to shuffle and pull the card like when I'm in the show. But this is an intention card that I pulled today. And it's really fitting. The intention is I speak my truth. I'm going to just show you. I speak my truth, right? And the affirmation on the card at the bottom says, I allow, see the same thing with the glasses. Okay. Yeah. I allow my voice to be heard and take a stand for myself. I speak from my soul and I allow this to guide my personality. So I allow my voice to be heard and take a stand for myself. And I thought, wow, this is just very applicable because when we are not making intentional choices for our lives or deciding that we're going to choose something different, when we're not doing that, what that means is that we're not speaking our truth. We're not taking a stand for ourselves. And so this is where I thought, okay, this is a really ideal card. So when we're finished today, I want each of you, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, to think about how you can take a better stand for your life, right? How can you create a life that works in a way that works for you? Okay. So let's start off with talking about how you lose your power, because I think for many of us, you're just kind of going through the grind of life, you're going through the hustle. You're not really thinking about the power you have to choose. You're not thinking that I am choosing in this moment. You're not necessarily, you don't really have that in your mind's eye, right? But what is true is that if you're not doing that, then you're actually losing your power. So the first thing you have to be clear on is how you are losing your power, whether you're losing it without knowing or you're actually giving it up, right? And many times we are actually giving up our power. And these are the ways that we end up feeling stuck because we've given our power away to something or to someone. And if you may be wondering, am I doing that? Are you, think for yourself, am I doing that? Am I giving my power to somebody else? Am I losing myself in a situation? When you think about making a choice, you are making a choice even when you don't make a choice. So for example, last week we were talking about work, and if work was frustrating or stressing you out. We can talk about love. If your relationship is not working and you're not choosing yourself or you're not choosing to change it, right? When you're staying in situations and you are not deciding on something else because you feel stuck, that is you losing your power, right? Maybe you're staying in something because it feels comfortable. You're getting a call to the more, but you decide that, boy, this is kind of okay. I don't need to really do anything much, or I want the soft life. So this kind of nice right now, but you don't really want it that way, but you're just kind of hanging out. You're hanging out in the comfort of the space, right? This is another way that you are losing your power or giving up your power. When I think about giving up my power, I think about times in the past, because I've had this. You can think about a situation for yourself, maybe where you wanted to belong to a group, and maybe you're new to an area, maybe you moved into a new place, or you just graduated from university, and you're new at work and you want to fit in, or maybe you're in a new relationship and your partner's friends, you want to to gel with them. And so what you end up doing is not really standing up, standing in your truth, like going along with things that you know you don't really agree with. That's another way that you're giving up your power to choose. And you're losing the power that you have to create the experience that you want. And yes, we know that a lot of this is rooted in fear because you're afraid that you may not be included in stuff. You're afraid that people may not like you. You have all these different things that come up for you. But ultimately, what I want you to understand is that you are always at choice. And so if you are not choosing with intention, then that means that you are accepting the result that comes from not making a choice or from giving that choice to somebody else. Can you think of a time when you've given away your power like this? I want you to really sit with that for a moment. Maybe at work, if you can think of a work example, maybe at work, you have had the experience where somebody tells you to stay late and you decide that you're going to stay late, even though you know you have something important planned that evening, and the thing that you're being asked to stay late for is not really a big deal, right? Or not really something that can happen before in the morning. I know that has happened to me so many times over the course of my career. Earlier on, though, I would say it's like I felt bad. I felt guilt almost. And that may be the feeling you get. You may get a feeling of guilt or worry first. You may start to worry like, oh, if I say no, is that going to affect my job? If I say no, what does that mean for me? You know, like, so you start to know, process in your mind the thoughts that are really taking away your power to choose in that moment where you've been asked to do something as simple as staying late, right? And when you are not identifying, like readily identifying that I'm doing this thing, you find yourself over and over ending up in this trap where people are starting to take advantage of you. And that's actually what ends up happening when you're not using your power of choice. And I want you to get something clear. Using your power of choice doesn't mean that you're walking off of the job or you're walking out of the relationship. It just means that you are standing in your power to choose something for yourself in that moment. That's the first thing. Identify where you're losing your power or where you're giving up your power to somebody else. Now, I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but there's been lots of memes and these cartoons going around where it's showing like somebody asking their team member to stay at work late or to pick up, they're calling them on the weekend and they're not answering the phone. And it's like a whole situation. There's memes going around about it. And actually in Australia, I just saw this week that in Australia, they are looking at legislation, like actual laws, where persons are not going to be able to tell their employees that they have to work long. And this is actually what I believe it is where people are starting to take back their power because they realize that they've gotten into these cycles. You've gotten into these cycles of working and you're stressing out and you're not feeling very empowered in your work environment. I'm still over here making tea, guys. This is my oat milk of choice. I'm just letting you know. I'm over here literally still making my tea because I need it this morning. Yeah. So it's not a situation where you just have to sit in something that you're happy with. Enough people, this is the power of change, right? Enough people have come together to say, look, we are burning out, we are overwhelmed, and we're tired of it. And so we are going to choose our power to stand and say, I'm not going to be coming in after hours working on something that I really can do the next day, or I am not going to be sitting down here and waiting for you to call me on a weekend when I really need to be spending time with my family. Like I'm trying to create some healthy boundaries. And so because people have been speaking their truth, right, which is our card for today, speaking your truth, because people have now been speaking their truth, a country is now putting legislation in place. Now, that is what I thought when I say you don't have to lose your power. That's what I'm talking about. That's a beautiful example of identifying when your power is being taken from you or when you're giving it up, and how to navigate out of that. Now, for some of us, we may have already gotten ourselves into situations where we feel that we've lost our power. And this is, I think, probably where you get most stuck, is you feel powerless because you made a choice for yourself and then you don't know how to change the choice that you've made. You automatically start to think, I can't shift this. It's impossible for me to shift this situation. So you feel stuck. And you all you can think about is how much you don't like where you are, how much I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like what I'm experiencing. It don't feel good. All you can find yourself doing is talking about it. And you know what I say, guys, what you focus on expands. So you're talking about the thing that you don't like, feeling stuck in the thing that you don't like. And so what happens is that blocks the energy of the universe to actually give you creative ideas, introduce possibilities, create opportunities. Even if you, let's say, you're getting down on your knees and you're praying about the situation that you don't like in a way that keeps you stuck in that situation. Your mind and your thoughts are just, it's like they're under attack. We've talked about your mind being under attack by your own thoughts, right? And so, what you're going to have to start doing is you're going to have to use the power of intention, use the power of action to shift yourself out of the experience and the situation that you're having. And it is possible. It doesn't mean it's a 24-hour turnaround, but it is possible to reclaim your power and to change your life at any given moment. So you can choose in one moment and then you can change in the next. Have you ever felt like you're stuck? Are you feeling like you're stuck right now? Maybe you're feeling like you're stuck right now. And you're in this kind of mind loop that just takes you straight back to being stuck. And part of the reason why that happens is because you are actively in the thought of I'm stuck. I can't change. And it is from that place that you are now trying to shift and move to a new thing. But I can tell you, that's not where you have to do it from. So if you're going to reclaim your power, you're going to have to take some measured steps. You can't just be in this bad downward spiral and just jump into feel good energy. You have to take some intentional steps, some measured steps. So if you are feeling stuck in this moment, if you are feeling powerless to change something that you have chosen for yourself in the past that no longer works for you, I'm going to ask you to try this thing, right? So as I was preparing this morning, I started to kind of write down, well, when I feel stuck, what do I do? And like this week, I felt really stuck in thinking about a problem I was having and I could not come up with a solution. And then I would find myself just sitting down for minutes after minutes. I look at the clock 1 minute and then I come back 30 minutes later realizing I just sat down there thinking about this problem I have over and over again. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but it happens to me whenever I'm stuck in something. And I realized that I needed to get out of the loop. I wasn't necessarily trying to find a solution. That was the first thing I had to come to my mind's eye about. My intention was not fix the problem. For a while, my intention had been fix the problem. But what I realized is that every time I sit down to try to fix the problem, all I keep coming back to is how much of a big problem it is, and then I get stuck in the thoughts. So I had to change my intention. My intention was to get back to peace of mind because I knew that I was not in the energetic space to solve the problem. And we get stuck there, guys. And the reason that you may be getting stuck there is because you feel you have to solve the problem right now. And in some instances, it's not that you have to solve the problem right now. Some instances, it's just, I have to make a choice right now. It doesn't mean that you're going to come up with a solution for the issue. You get what I'm saying? There's a slight distinction there. So you have to get really clear first about intention. So I realized, okay, so intention is a part of it. So I wrote down intention. I'm going to just be making the notes while I do that. So I wrote down intention. And so when I realized that, I can't shift the thinking, the next thing I was like is, okay, well, I want to feel better. If that's really what I want right now. Right now, I don't want to be waking up in the middle of the night thinking about this and not being able to go back to sleep. I don't want to be dragged off in the middle of the day thinking about this. And then my thoughts are just like taking me on a downward spiral. I want to feel good. I want thoughts that are going to make me feel good, right? So I went into thinking about, so from that place of shifting my intention, I went into now the thoughts that I actually want to have. So I started to get to a place where I'm looking at the thoughts I'm manufacturing because they're ours. We are the ones that are in charge of them, responsible for them. I went into that thinking about those thoughts. And then I decided I was going to take a different kind of action than I was taking before. Because before, I was sitting there with an email that somebody had written to me, and I was so annoyed. I'm annoyed, like you get the email and you're like reading this, and the more you read, the more your insides them just can't wait to get back so you can start. Yeah, it was one of those emails. You know what I'm talking about. Or one of those text messages. You know what I'm talking about. And I knew in that moment that, like, okay, I want to take a different action. I want to do something else. So then I moved from my thought pattern to the action that I wanted to take. And what I was trying to create for myself through all of this thinking, and it's not taking like 30 minutes to do this, guys. This is literally like a 5-minute process or less. I knew I needed to get a different result. So the action that I was going to take was going to give me a different result. Right? And so what you'll see that I'm doing here is that I've kind of drawn out like how my head was kind of working through the issue. So I started off with what was my original intention. So I put intention here. And then from that intention, I started having different types of thoughts. What are the different types of thoughts that I'm going to use to help me to move towards the kind of action that is going to take me to a better, to draw the result going up, right? No, the result can go down sometimes, but in this instance, I was trying to get to a better result. And through doing that result, I was then able to change my experience. So what I realized is that in every single instance of our lives, we have intentions that we are either setting deliberately or in default mode. And those intentions are going to bring up some thoughts, right? So you're going to have some thoughts that are going to come from them. And once those thoughts are in place, you're going to take an action. You're going to make a choice in that moment. And that choice is going to the action is going to happen. And that choice can be either a good choice, bad choice, in between choice. It's a choice. It's yours. You own it. You have the power to determine whether or not you're going to make the choice in that moment. And this is where we usually mess up. This is where we usually send the text message when we're vexed. When we're in the thoughts that say, I'm not serving the intention of peace of mind. The intention I'm actually serving is to tell you off. I'm going to take control of this situation. So you're serving a different intention in that moment because you've chosen an action that is not aligned with the original intention that you had in place. So what you're going to do is you're literally just going to draw that square, right? The square that I just showed you. You're just going to draw a square with a piece of paper in the moment. Draw a square. If you can't write because you don't got a pen, use your mind, use your imagination. Use your imagination. Draw a square. The first thing in the top left corner of your square is intention. And ask yourself, what is my intention? Because my intention when I got up that morning to have a better day than the day before was to have peace of mind. It was not to try to solve the problem I was having. It was just to have peace of mind. By the time I read the email where the person sent me, say, my intention, that one day that I had about peace of mind, that gone through the door. The next intention is just let you know who's boss, right? That's the intention. And so because my intention shifted, my action was responding to the thoughts that were coming from, let me show you who's boss. And those thoughts, people, were not the best thoughts. Okay, those are the thoughts where you want to cuss off somebody, where you want to go onto stage at the Oscars and slap somebody across them face. Those are the thoughts that come along with it. And then the action follows. Okay, that's what happens. I'm pretty sure, speaking of slaps across the face, I'm pretty sure that last year, right around this time, because Oscars are coming up again, I'm pretty sure that Will Smith did not go to the Oscars with the intention of slapping Chris Rock on his face. He did not. He did not go there with that intention, right? He went there with the intention, I'm sure, of enjoying the experience of him being celebrated as an amazing actor, because there were so many people that had predicted he was going to win that night. And for you, you may have those moments where you're walking into a situation and you have the best intentions. And so you're walking in and your thoughts are so good. You feel good. You might have a little nervous energy, but you're feeling good. Yeah. And it can happen. You're going into work. You're going into, your relationship space with your partner, whatever it is. Maybe you're going in for your annual checkup at the doctor and you're feeling good. You've been going to the gym. You've been working out. You've been doing all the things. And then you run into a situation, one of those things that triggers you. And that initial intention that you had that is giving you all these feel-good thoughts, that slips away. And so your power, remember we're talking about your power to choose and to change. When you move your intention to a different intention, the thoughts that you have and the choices that you make are going to give you actions that are going to give you a different result. Yeah. Okay, it's going to give you a different result. Yes, Peter, I'm talking about going full on Will Smith. Like, that's how I felt this week. This week I was going to go on, I was going to handle it. I can't handle nothing like that. Trust me. I'm so nonviolent. My head may not be, but yeah. Right? So you have to be very careful about observing when your thoughts are taking you to a different action, and you can feel the shift in your body. There was a point in Will's mind where he knew that as he was walking up to that stage, that he was not serving his initial intention. I know it is. His intention shifted and his thoughts convinced him that this is the right path for you to take. This is the moment where you are going to show up and show out and protect your family. No, boo. You were protecting your ego fully, and you could not. You were stuck in that intention. You were stuck. And you did not feel that you had the power to change your thoughts. And maybe you didn't have the power to change your thoughts, but you certainly had the power to change the action that you were choosing. And in some moments, it just kind of takes you. And we've all been there. We've all been in the argument with the lover. You're in the argument and it's like your mind is literally telling you, this is not going well, right? This is not going well. For guys especially, because I know I talked to my love partner and he'll tell me like he sees when I'm like, okay, boo, this is not working for you right now. He can tell when I have gotten there, and he is like not able to like, it can't stop him. It's just happening. And when that happens to you, right? When you are just in that space where your intention has shifted, you are stuck in the thoughts that are taking you down that downward spiral, and you make a choice that is not going to serve you. You make a choice that is going to give you the result that is the opposite of what you want. And it's literally like you move from, you don't even know when the intention shifts. You literally don't know. It's like you go from something happening and then you just go straight to result. You don't remember the action, you don't remember the thought, you just go straight to result, right? But what you can do to reclaim your power is to do this work when you're not in that state. Do this work when you're not in that state. Do this work when you're sitting down and you have a few minutes. Maybe it is when you wake up early in the morning, like I was doing 2-3 times this week. at the 3 o'clock in the morning before my alarm goes off. You wake up and your mind is not yet fully built up with the momentum, and you can put on some music and just kind of center yourself before you go down the rabbit hole. In that moment, get a piece of paper out and sit down and draw your square. Write down, what is my intention? Ask yourself, what is my intention? And if you find that the intention is just bare, egotistical things, I have to be in control. My intention is to fix this. My intention, if you're seeing that, no. What you're looking for are things like freedom, joy, ease, contentment, peace of mind, being resolute, resilience. I need to be resilient right now. I need to be courageous right now. It's more those kind of things, more feeling things, not necessarily action things, right? So think about what your intention is. And when you're thinking about that intention, then that will start to give you the thoughts that are going to help you choose your action, right? It's going to help you to choose the best action for you so that you can create the result that you want. Another hack that you can try that is guaranteed to work also, draw your square and write result first. So result should be in the top right corner, right? So draw your square and then put result first and write down the results that you want. Write down the results that you are trying to create. It's almost like, remember last week when we did contrast versus clarity? Write down the result that you want, because that will inspire you to know, set a clear intention, because sometimes truthfully, you don't know what your intention is. And so you need some support to take you there. Okay. So guys, in conclusion, because I am out of my time and my tea is now cold. I barely got one sip in. That's my time. But I hope that today was really helpful for you. I know that many of us are feeling really tight. We're tight in our chest, our heads, our stomach. We just feel like this, right? Because of how life is coming at us and because of the things that we're engaging with. And I just want to say to you that you don't always have to be trying to get a positive thought in your head, because sometimes you just can't. But it does not mean that you have to stay stuck in feeling like you've lost your power. You always have everything you need inside of you to take a step towards changing or choosing the direction you want for your life. All right. So take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. And I hope you stay blessed. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and see you next week for tea time. Take care, everybody. Bye.